Late last year in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott, Republican, ordered education officials to, quote, develop statewide standards to prevent the presence of pornography and other obscene content in Texas public schools, including in school libraries.
I know. What? Hold on a second. Why is he bitching about this?
Pornography and obscene content. Well, I guess, obviously obscene content is going to be, Martin Luther King Jr. speeches or something.
Oh, that's considered pornography now? That I have a dream? What kind of dream was he having?
Listen. It's a very exciting dream, okay?
I have a...
Some Texas districts...
It was about children, Adam, okay? Really? Obviously, it's obscene.
Terrible. How dare you?
Taken this directive and used it as a license to remove all sorts of books, especially those focusing on LGBTQ plus topics, race and racism, and even sex education. The Granbury Independent School District, which is outside of Fort Worth, put together a list of more than 100 books to consider removing from its libraries. This is the list. It includes titles...
Okay, did you catch that? These books have not been removed. They're being reviewed for consideration.
Well, no, I didn't. I totally missed it.
There's a list of 100 books that are being reviewed to be considered to be removed from the library forever.
I would be watching the entire rest of the segment thinking all these books are being removed.
That's how it's framed. Mm-hmm. That's how it's framed.
Being Jazz, my life as a transgender teen.
Yep.
That's Jazz.
Jazz, I forget her last name, yeah.
She has a television show.
The television show. Yeah, but it's also... I mean, this is such a... It's funny because I think this was an optical loss, too, from both sides. Both the Democrats complaining about this, but also from the Republicans for the same reason. Mm-hmm. I understand them going after, like, the curriculum. Who the fuck is reading the books in their school library?
Yeah.
Nobody. Who cares?
Yeah.
You could hide porn in your school library and no one would ever find out about it.
That's true.
There's nobody anytime I've ever seen a student in the library back when I went to school, it was to use the fucking computer. I can't even imagine what it's like now.
There's this thing called the internet.
Yeah. I was like watching this. I'm like, the only way that they get kids interested in what's in the school library is they start putting like manga in there. Yeah. Then kids would actually start reading shit.
These are the books that we're not restocking because nobody's opened them in 2 years.
Yeah, I would love that. It's like, I would actually love that. And it should be, because when you check out a book, like there's usually a log. I'd be super curious as to how many times any of these books have ever been checked out by fucking anyone.
Definitely not.
Titles like Being Jazz, My Life as a Transgender Teen, Safe Sex 101, An Overview for Teens, and Separate is Never Equal, Sylvia Mendez and her family's fight for desegregation. They have already removed 5 novels by a New York Times bestselling young adult author.
Justification for removal. Overtly sexual content. Okay.
That's what I hate about this stuff is like, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of like Karen adults that are like, I don't want my children reading, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's silly because, your kids all have internet porn. But I think it's totally reasonable and rational for adults to not want their children to have in their schools, like some overtly sexual material. Okay. I can totally relate to that being a reasonable concern.
So listen to these titles. Losing the Field Until Friday Night. Bad for You. Until the End. What do you think these books are about? Your teenage daughter is reading these, Sitch. What do you think Losing the Field is about? I'm curious. Well,
it's funny because if you look up
read the summary on one of these books.
If you look up the Vincent brothers, there's two covers I see. One has a shirtless man who's like about to make out with like a woman whose dress is like falling off.
Oh, nice.
It looks like a classic, like,
romance
novel cover. And the other one is a woman's lips like provocatively like kissing a green apple. So like,
That's
You
the
know,
school
I don't
version.
know. Maybe it's okay that the what does this have to do with being anti-LGBT or racist? I'm very confused by this.
Yeah, that seems very heteronormative to me, that cover you
Oh,
described.
here you go. Let me read you the description of the Vincent brothers.
Mhm.
Getting a boy to fall head over heels in love with you isn't easy, especially when he's been in love with your cousin for as long as you can remember.
Wow.
Lana has lived her life in your cousin's shadow. Ashton, oh my God, this is fucking like the cringiest shit ever. Ashton always made perfect grades, had tons of friends, and looks model perfect.
Hmm.
This
I
is so
feel like I'm
pathetic.
listening to the Majority Report here. The jealousy just wafting off the pages here.
She's always had Sawyer Vincent, the only boy Lana's ever wanted, wrapped around her finger. But
Oh.
now things are different. Lana has a chance to make Sawyer see her, and she's taking it. If only he'd get over Aston, because Lana is sick of second best.
My God, what a home record. So basically,
This is
this book
like-
is about a home wrecker.
This is like the fucking cringiest CW teen drama like
Right.
description that I'm reading. And Chris Hayes is complaining that this book was banned on national news as if this is an infringement on Black and LGBT people's rights.
This is gaslighting of the highest order. First of all of this is heteronormative patriarchy fare, okay? This would not pass the Bechdel test, this book.
No. Oh, wait a minute, there's more. Sawyer's heart is broken. He's lost his best girl to his best friend.
What?
And then Lana comes to town. Ashton's cousin has always been sweet and soft-spoken, but now she's drop-dead gorgeous as well.
Wow.
Sawyer
Wow.
doesn't know if Lana can heal his broken heart, but spending time with her might at least make Ashton jealous. What starts as a carefree fling becomes a lusty game of seduction. Sawyer and Lana may have different motives, but their scintillating hookups are the same kind of steamy.
I got to admit, is there an audiobook? I'm kind of interested. This sounds very educational.
Oh my God.
I'm glad the school library likes these books are for like the librarian, right?
Martin Luther King Jr. is spitting in his grave. He's crying tears. He's saying, I'm having a nightmare that my children can't walk into their school library and read the dumbest, most cringiest of lame CW teen sex drama female romance novel garbage. Oh, the censorship.
Tell me, Sitch, is there a civil rights B story? Is there anything?
Not in this summary. Fuck. Chris Hayes, this is pathetic. This is
Are they
so
at least
pathetic.
interracial? No, it's her
No.
cousin or something.
No, there's no
Oh.
interracial.
Oh,
There's nothing. There's nothing here.
why are the progressives protecting this?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I thought for sure when I looked this up, it'd be
Must
like
be
about
the children.
Well, yeah, I assumed looking it up, it would be about like an LGBT relationship or something, but no, it's just literally your standard
Mhm.
teen drama trash fire bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it probably shouldn't be in the school library.
It's Twilight without the vampires.
That's right.
Earlier this week at the Granbury School Board meeting, the superintendent attacked those who are concerned about this purge. And if I did not tell you that this happened just the other day in the year 2022, you could be fooled into thinking this speech was from another era.
He frames it as a purge. The purge. The purge.
What would the children do without their steamy CW trash teen drama
Well,
novels?
they
Ugh.
probably just pull out their phone and fucking listen to it.
How will the children learn to be in toxic relationships if they can't read melodrama?
Yeah.
Let's not misrepresent things. We're not taking Shakespeare or Hemingway off the shelves, and we're not going and grabbing every socially, culturally, or religiously diverse book and pulling them. That's absurd. And the people that are saying that are gaslighters, and it's designed to incite division.
Okay.
That's totally true.
Yeah, but
What he
Chris
said was
Hayes
completely accurate.
Chris Hayes categorized that by saying this is something you expect to hear in like the 1960s desegregation movement.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he described what that guy just said, which is perfectly reasonable.
Wasn't this guy just totally going full Karen on Joe Rogan for misinformation? What the fuck? What is happening here?
Yes, he was.
How is this possible? Where is that guy who's supposed to be?
He has no shame. Okay, that's how it's possible.
Do you think he knows that he's lying, or do you think the producers are just like, oh, Chris Hayes, he's a dumbass?
I think
just give him the script.
I think Chris Hayes truly believes that all these laws are just secret. The law isn't racist, but it's secret racism. Okay.
Right.
If you can just read the minds of the Republican lawmakers, they're up to something, Adam. You know, why else would they pass this law? They're up to something.
Yeah, no. They want to get that trashy romance novel out of the library so that they can appear to be doing something, so they can get reelected.
Well, it's so ridiculous because whenever you see, for all the books, the examples of the books that are banned, whenever they show like the person talking about the book banning, it's always like some Karen parent like, I don't want my child reading profanity and sex. It like has nothing to do with racism or LGBT issues or anything at all. It's just some prude somewhere is like, I don't want my kid reading this child in this book says GD to their own parent, and this is not responsible for kids to read.
GD, huh? Yeah.
The whole goddamn.
Did you notice that Michael Moore is right next to him on the school
there you go.
panel?
Professional documentarian Michael Moore is on this school board.
He stepped out.
I removed were vulgar. The writing was sexually explicit and, in my opinion, pornographic. It has no place in the hands of 13, 14, or 15-year-old kids, and our school owes our community an apology for ever having allowed it into our schools.
And see, this is what's so disgusting. This is why, fuck you, Chris Hayes, you lying smear merchant. Okay, is because this is how they frame it. They frame it as the Republicans are evil, racist, and anti and homophobes and transphobes. This is a list of the books they're looking at, and this is the books that they banned. And so they're putting in your mind, the viewer, that the books that were banned have something to do with racism
or CRT,
or CRT or LGBT issues. And as I just read, and I looked at this, at least the subject for the second one, they have nothing to do with any of that stuff. They're these teen romance novels, which reading the summary do seem like they get pretty sexual. They do seem pretty racy. And so for some guy who's on a school board who's probably extra prude to say, well, I looked at the scenes in these books, they're I think they're pornographic. They shouldn't be in a fucking library for children. I think that's a totally reasonable position to have.
It is reasonable.
And yet, because Chris Hayes and these other fucks are so twisted on this culture war narrative, which is so funny. They're complaining like the Republicans are so focused on the culture war. Chris Hayes over here is so focused on the culture war that he's twisting what would be a regular occurrence. Okay, a school board throwing out a book that has teen sex in it from the school library. They got to twist that around to being part of the fucking culture war. The projection is insane.
Yeah, it is insane. It's dishonest just to have the Chiron up that says the CRT witch hunt while this guy is speaking. These books have nothing to do with CRT. Yeah,
right.
So these 5 books were banned. We just read one of the summaries, and this is a direct response to those 5 books, which are fucking racist pornography, or not racist, but sexist porn, or you know what I mean. Yeah, no, it's terrible.
We will conduct a full investigation and put processes in place to ensure it never happens again.
My wife will be reading every single one of these books.
My wife has very kindly expressed interest that she cares so much about the children that she will read all these books to make sure that they're appropriate for school.
Exactly.